The day the galaxy went silent. In the far edges of the galaxy, many civilizations watched the rise of a small and strange species, humans. They had only recently discovered faster-than-light travel. Their ships were small compared to the giant warships of older empires. Their colonies were few. Their technology seemed simple. To the powerful civilizations of the galaxy, humanity looked weak. Many alien leaders believed humans would not survive long in the wider galaxy, but one empire was especially confident: the Zerath Dominion. The Zerath were an ancient and powerful species. Their empire controlled hundreds of star systems. Their fleets had destroyed entire civilizations in the past. Across the galaxy, their name was feared. Their warships were massive. Their soldiers were genetically engineered for battle. Their weapons could tear apart moons and turn planets into burning wastelands. The Zerath believed one thing above all: strength ruled the galaxy, and by their standards, humans had none. For many years, the Zerath observed Earth from a distance. Their spy drones watched human technology, human politics, and human fleets. Every report seemed to confirm the same thing: humans were not ready for the galaxy. Their fleets were small. Their weapons looked outdated. Their ships were fragile compared to Zerath battlecruisers. The Zerath High Council finally made a decision. Humanity would be conquered. But this would not be a normal invasion. The Council wanted to make an example. They wanted the entire galaxy to see what happened to weak civilizations that dared to enter interstellar space. So they chose their most powerful military force, the Oblivion Armada. It was the pride of the Zerath Dominion. Thousands of warships, elite commanders, veteran soldiers who had fought in dozens of wars. The Armada included massive dreadnoughts, fast strike ships, and carriers filled with advanced fighters. The fleet had crushed stronger enemies than humanity before. The Zerath believed the war would be short, maybe a few days, maybe even a few hours. Inside the great command chamber of the Armada's flagship, the Zerath Supreme Commander watched a holographic map of the human star system, the Sol system, the home of humanity. The commander studied the information calmly. Human defenses were minimal, only a few orbital stations, a small fleet of patrol ships, nothing that could stop the Oblivion Armada. The commander gave a simple order: begin the invasion. The Armada moved like a storm across space. Thousands of ships jumped through faster than light travel. Moments later, they arrived near the outer edge of the Sol system. Human long-range sensors detected them almost immediately. Alarms rang across human colonies and stations. Emergency messages spread through the human networks. A massive alien fleet had arrived. But something strange happened. Humans did not panic. Across Earth, military commands became active. Hidden bases woke from silent mode. Deep space stations powered on systems that had been sleeping for years. But the Zerath could not see most of this. From their view, the human system looked quiet. Too quiet. The Zerath commanders believed fear had frozen the humans. They believed humanity was already defeated. The fleet began moving deeper into the system, closer to Earth, closer to Mars, closer to the heart of human civilization. The Supreme Commander prepared to send the first message to Earth. It would be simple: a demand for surrender. Most civilizations surrendered when they saw the Oblivion Armada. But before the message was sent, something unexpected happened. Human communication networks suddenly went silent. Every broadcast stopped. Every signal disappeared. To the Zerath commanders, it looked like humanity had shut down its systems. Some officers laughed. They believed humans had already accepted defeat. The commander ordered the fleet to continue forward. But as the Armada moved deeper into the system, strange readings began appearing on their sensors: small energy signals, movement near distant asteroids, unusual gravitational changes. At first, the Zerath scientists ignored them. Space was full of strange signals. But the readings continued, and they were increasing. The commander ordered a deeper scan. What the sensors showed made several officers uneasy. Asteroids were moving. Thousands of them. But asteroids did not move on their own. Then another signal appeared. Then another. Then hundreds more. Hidden energy sources were activating all across the solar system. Around planets, near moons, inside asteroid belts. Across the bridge of the flagship, the officers watched the sensor display slowly fill with unknown contacts. The quiet human system was waking up. And suddenly, it did not look weak anymore. But before the Zerath could react, the first human message arrived. It appeared on every screen across the Armada. No image, no threat, Just a simple sentence in clear translation. Welcome to the Sol Defense Network. For a moment, the bridge was silent. Then alarms began to sound. All across the fleet, ships reported strange gravitational fields forming. Massive structures were powering on. Weapons the Zerath had never seen before were appearing from hidden locations. The entire solar system had changed in seconds. The Supreme Commander stared at the growing number of, contacts on the tactical display. Thousands, then tens of thousands. Human defenses had been hidden everywhere. What had looked like a weak civilization had suddenly become something far more dangerous. The commander finally understood something important. The humans had known the Zerath were coming, and they had been preparing for a very long time. But the worst part was still to come, because only minutes after the first alarm sounded, the Zerath fleet lost contact with its outer ships. One by one, signals began disappearing. Ships stopped responding. Weapons went offline. Entire squadrons vanished from the tactical map. The most powerful fleet in the Zerath Empire had just entered the human system, and already it was starting to disappear. Far away in the darkness of space, human commanders quietly watched the battle begin. They had waited years for this moment, and now the trap had finally closed. The galaxy would soon learn something it had never understood before. Humans were not weak. They were patient, and patience could be far more dangerous than strength. But the rest of the galaxy did not know that yet. All they would see was something strange. The strongest fleet in the Zerath Dominion had gone to conquer humanity. And then, the galaxy went silent. The fall of the Armada. Long before the Zerath Dominion sent their powerful Armada, humanity had already discovered something important about the galaxy. They were not alone. The first contact happened many years earlier. At that time, humanity had only a few colonies outside Earth. Their ships had just begun traveling between nearby star systems. One day, a human exploration ship called Horizon Seeker detected something strange near the edge of a distant system. At first, the crew believed it was a broken satellite. But when the scanners looked closer, they saw it was a ship. An alien ship. It was damaged and drifting slowly through space. Inside the Horizon Seeker, the crew became nervous. Humans had always wondered if aliens existed. Now they were staring at the proof. The captain of the ship, Captain Elena Ward, gave a careful order. Do not attack. Scan the vessel. Let's understand what we are looking at. Human scientists began studying the alien ship. The technology was advanced, much stronger than anything humans had built at that time. But the ship was badly damaged. Parts of its hull were broken. Its engines were silent. Life support systems were barely working. Someone inside the alien ship was dying. Captain Ward made a decision that would later change the future. She ordered a rescue mission. Human engineers carefully opened a safe connection between the two ships. Medical teams entered the alien vessel. Inside, they found a single survivor, a tall creature with gray skin and glowing blue eyes. The alien was weak and frightened. But when the human doctors helped him, he did not resist. For the first time in history, a human and an alien stood face to face. The alien belonged to a species known as the Corthan Union. They were traders and explorers who traveled across many star systems. When the Corthan survivor recovered, he told the humans something shocking. The galaxy was full of civilizations, but it was also full of war. Powerful empires fought constantly. Weak civilizations were often conquered or destroyed. The Corthan trader warned humanity about the dangers waiting in space. He also told them something else. Most alien civilizations believed humans were not important. To them, Earth was just another young world, a small species trying to reach the stars. But the humans did not react with fear. Instead, they reacted with curiosity. Human scientists asked thousands of questions. They studied alien technology. They learned about interstellar travel, energy weapons, and alien communication systems. But they also noticed something interesting. Many alien technologies followed the same patterns. Ships were built in similar shapes. Weapons used similar energy systems. Defense systems followed the same basic designs. It was as if every civilization had learned war in the same way. Humans found this surprising, because on Earth, war had never been simple. Human history was filled with constant conflict. For thousands of years, humans fought each other in many different ways. They fought on land. They fought across oceans. They fought in the skies. And later, they fought in space. Human warfare had never followed a single rule. Humans used creativity in battle. Sometimes they used traps, sometimes they used deception, sometimes they used strange tactics that made no sense to their enemies. The Corthan survivor once said something that human scientists never forgot. In the galaxy, he explained, most civilizations grow peaceful after reaching space. They stop fighting large wars. Humans exchanged quiet looks when they heard this, because humans had never stopped preparing for war. Even when peace existed, human engineers continued building better defenses. They improved ships. They improved weapons. They improved artificial intelligence systems that could learn during combat. Human leaders did not fully trust the peaceful stories of the galaxy. History had taught them something important. Someone always tried to become stronger than everyone else, and when that happened, war followed. So humanity made a quiet decision. They would explore the galaxy. They would make friends where possible. But they would also prepare for the worst. Hidden projects began across the solar system. Secret defense stations were built near distant asteroids. Research labs developed strange new technologies. Human engineers experimented with gravity weapons, adaptive shields, and autonomous battle systems. Many of these projects were hidden deep inside space. Most of the galaxy never noticed them. To outside observers, humanity still looked small and harmless. Even the Zerath Dominion believed this. Their spy drones watched human activity for years, but they misunderstood what they saw. Humans appeared peaceful. They traded with small alien groups like the Corthan. They explored new systems slowly. They did not build giant war fleets like the older empires. The Zerath High Council saw this as weakness. They believed humans lacked ambition. They believed humanity would fall easily under the power of the Dominion, but the Zerath did not understand human nature. Humans did not always show their strength. Sometimes they hid it. Sometimes they waited. Sometimes they allowed their enemies to believe a lie. The trap. The Zerath Oblivion Armada moved deeper into the solar system. From a distance, everything still looked calm. Earth continued its normal communications. Small human ships moved slowly between planets. Mining stations worked near asteroids. To the Zerath commanders, it looked like humans were pretending nothing was wrong. Many officers believed humans had accepted defeat. Inside the flagship Dominion Spear, the Supreme Commander watched the tactical display. Thousands of Zerath ships were spread across space like a massive storm. Their plan was simple. First, destroy the outer human stations. Second, disable human communication networks. Finally, surround Earth and force the planet to surrender. The Zerath had used this strategy many times before. It always worked. The commander gave the first order. Attack the outer defense stations. Several Zerath destroyers moved forward. They locked their weapons on small human stations near the asteroid belt. Bright energy beams fired across space. Within seconds, the human stations exploded into pieces. Some Zerath officers laughed. "This will be easier than expected," one of them said. But the laughter did not last long. Moments later, strange signals began appearing on their sensors again. Thousands of small objects were moving through the asteroid belt. At first, they looked like normal rocks, but the movement was too controlled. Asteroids do not move in perfect patterns. The Zerath science officers began scanning the objects carefully. Their results shocked them. The asteroids were not natural. Many of them contained metal structures hidden beneath the rock. Weapons. Thousands of hidden weapons. Before the Zerath could react, the first asteroid opened. A section of the rock split apart. Inside it was a long railgun cannon, a powerful magnetic weapon. It fired instantly. A metal projectile accelerated to incredible speed and struck a Zerath destroyer. The ship's shields tried to stop the impact, but the projectile was moving too fast. It punched directly through the ship's hull. The destroyer exploded seconds later. Alarms filled the bridge of the Dominion Spear. More asteroids were opening. Hidden cannons, missile launchers, and energy weapons were appearing everywhere. The entire asteroid belt had been turned into a giant weapons platform. The Zerath commander quickly gave new orders. Destroy the asteroids. Clear the path. Hundreds of Zerath ships began firing. Energy beams cut through the asteroid field. Many of the hidden weapons were destroyed, but there were too many. Every time one asteroid was destroyed, 3 more opened. Missiles flew across space. Railgun shots struck Zerath ships from unexpected directions. Within minutes, the front lines of the Oblivion Armada were taking heavy damage. The Zerath fleet began moving deeper into the system, hoping to escape the trap. But the trap was only beginning. Humanity's secret weapons. The Zerath fleet had fought many wars. They had defeated powerful civilizations across the galaxy, but what they were seeing now was something completely different. Human ships were entering the battle. Hundreds of them. At first, the Zerath commanders were not impressed. Compared to Zerath warships, human ships looked small. Most of them were half the size of Zerath destroyers. Some officers on the flagship Dominion Spear even smiled. Finally, one officer said, "The humans come to fight directly." The Zerath commander watched the approaching fleet carefully. Something about the ships felt strange. They moved differently. Their formation was unusual. Instead of forming one large battle line, the human ships spread across space in many small groups. Some moved above the Zerath fleet. Some moved below. Some disappeared behind asteroids. The Zerath sensors struggled to track them all. "Focus fire," the commander ordered. Dozens of Zerath cannons fired. Bright energy beams shot across space toward the incoming human fleet. Human ships began moving at incredible speed. Their engines glowed bright blue as they accelerated in sharp, unpredictable directions. Instead of flying in straight lines like most alien ships, human pilots made sudden turns. They changed direction again and again. The Zerath targeting system struggled to follow them. Missiles that should have destroyed human ships flew past empty space. Inside the human ships, advanced artificial intelligence systems helped pilots make perfect combat moves. These AI systems studied enemy weapons in real time. Every attack made them smarter. Every second of battle gave them more data. Human ships were learning during the fight. The Zerath had never seen this before. Then the humans launched their first counterattack. Small human fighters flew toward the Zerath formation. Instead of firing normal weapons, the fighters attached strange devices to the hulls of Zerath ships. Moments later, powerful electromagnetic pulses exploded. Entire sections of Zerath warships suddenly went dark. Weapons shut down. Shields failed. Human missiles struck the disabled ships. Explosions lit the darkness of space. The fall of the Armada. The battle across the solar system had now turned completely against the Zerath Dominion. Only a short time earlier, the Oblivion Armada had entered human space with confidence. Now the fleet was slowly falling apart. Human ships moved through space like hunters surrounding wounded prey. Every minute, another Zerath ship disappeared from the tactical displays. Inside the flagship Dominion Spear, the Supreme Commander stood silently in the center of the bridge. The large holographic battle map floated before him. Red symbols representing Zerath ships were disappearing one after another. Blue symbols representing human ships continued multiplying across the system. For the first time since the war began, the commander felt something very dangerous. "Doubt. Report," he ordered. One of the officers spoke nervously. "Commander, we have lost 67 ships in the last 12 minutes. Another officer added quickly. "Several formations are breaking apart. Communication between squadrons is failing." The commander clenched his claws. The Zerath fleet had faced heavy losses before. But this situation was different. Human forces were not simply destroying ships. They were attacking coordination. They were breaking the structure of the Armada. Human electronic warfare systems flooded Zerath communication channels with interference. Messages were delayed. Orders arrived too late. Entire squadrons were fighting separate battles without knowing the larger situation. Meanwhile, human ships continued adapting. REs, the human battle AI, had now studied nearly every Zerath tactic. It began predicting their movements seconds before they happened. Human pilots received constant updates. Enemy cruiser turning left in 3 seconds. Shield weakness detected on target. Launch missiles now. These small advantages slowly turned the battle into a disaster for the Zerath fleet. Near the orbit of Mars, a large Zerath battle group attempted to regroup. 20 destroyers formed a defensive circle around a massive command cruiser. Their shields overlapped, creating a powerful defense. The Zerath commanders hoped this formation would finally stop the human attacks. For a moment, it worked. Human fighters tried to approach but were pushed back by heavy weapons. But humans rarely attacked the same way twice. Instead of attacking the formation directly, several human ships moved toward nearby asteroids. They fired special devices into the rocks. Minutes later, the asteroids exploded. Thousands of metal fragments filled the area around the Zerath formation. The fragments moved fast, too fast for shields to stop completely. The Zerath ships were suddenly surrounded by deadly debris. Their sensors struggled to track targets through the cloud of metal. That was exactly what the humans wanted. Hidden inside the debris field, human stealth ships moved quietly toward the formation. The Zerath crews could not see them. When the stealth ships finally attacked, it was too late. Torpedoes struck the command cruiser. The large ship exploded in a bright flash of light. Without their commander, the destroyers lost coordination. Human bombers entered the area seconds later. One by one, the Zerath destroyers were destroyed. Across the solar system, similar battles were happening everywhere. The Oblivion Armada was slowly breaking apart. Some Zerath captains tried to push forward toward Earth. Others tried to regroup. But the human defense network kept attacking from every direction. Hidden weapons continued activating near moons and planets. Gravity traps pulled ships off course. Railguns fired from distant stations. Missiles appeared from unexpected locations. The solar system itself had become a giant battlefield controlled by humanity. Inside the Dominion sphere, the Supreme Commander finally accepted the truth. The invasion had failed. Continuing the battle would only destroy the rest of the fleet. He slowly turned toward his communication officer. "Prepare a fleet-wide order," he said quietly. The officer hesitated. "Commander, are we retreating?" The commander looked back at the tactical display. More ships were disappearing. He nodded slowly. "Yes, order all surviving ships to retreat immediately." The officer quickly sent the command. Across the battlefield, Zerath captains received the order. Many ships immediately turned away from the solar system. Their engines powered up for faster-than-light jumps. But escaping would not be easy. Humans had expected this. Several hidden devices activated near the edge of the system. Powerful gravitational fields disrupted jump drives. Some Zerath ships tried to escape, but their engines failed. Human fleets quickly surrounded them. Other ships managed to activate their jump drives. But many were destroyed before they could leave. The once mighty Oblivion Armada was now running for survival. Human ships chased the retreating fleet. Missiles continued striking damaged Zerath vessels. Several dreadnoughts exploded as they attempted to escape. The battlefield slowly filled with burning debris. Hours passed. Eventually, only a few Zerath ships remained. Most of them were heavily damaged. Inside the Dominion sphere, the Supreme Commander watched the final moments of the battle. His once powerful fleet was gone. Thousands of ships had entered the solar system. Now almost all of them were destroyed. The commander felt anger, but also something else. Respect. Humans had not won through simple strength. They had won through preparation, intelligence, and patience. They had studied the enemy. They had built traps. They had adapted during battle. And now the strongest fleet in the Zerath Dominion had been completely defeated. Finally, the Dominion spear prepared its jump drive. The commander knew only a few ships might escape. But someone had to return and report what happened. The galaxy needed to know the truth. As the damaged flagship prepared to jump away from the battlefield, the commander spoke quietly to himself. "We believed humans were weak." He looked at the distant blue planet Earth on the display. "We were wrong." Seconds later, the jump drive activated. The last surviving Zerath flagship vanished into faster-than-light travel. Behind it, the battlefield slowly grew quiet. The remains of the Oblivion Armada drifted through the solar system. The strongest fleet in the Zerath Empire had entered human space with absolute confidence. Now it was nothing more than broken metal floating in silence. Human ships slowly began moving through the wreckage. Rescue teams searched for survivors. Engineers studied captured technology. The battle was over. But the story of what happened here was only beginning. Because soon, the rest of the galaxy would learn what happened when someone tried to crush humanity. The galaxy learns the truth. Months had passed since the battle in the solar system. The once mighty Oblivion Armada was now only a memory. Scattered wreckage floated through the void. Crumpled hulls, burned-out engines, and empty fighter pods. Every piece of alien technology told a story of failure, of overconfidence, and of humanity's unexpected strength. On Earth, humans were quiet. They did not celebrate with fanfare or fireworks. Instead, they were already rebuilding. Ships were repaired. Stations were reinforced. Hidden defense systems were upgraded. Every surviving human pilot and engineer knew the truth. The galaxy would soon take notice, and humanity had to be ready. Deep space scouts returned with strange reports. Alien ships were approaching the outskirts of the solar system, but they did not attack. Instead, they observed. Their commanders communicated with each other in nervous tones. The galaxy had learned one terrifying fact. The strongest fleet in the Zerath Dominion had entered human space, and not a single ship had returned. The first alien civilizations to arrive were smaller trading empires. They had long regarded humans as primitive, but now curiosity and fear drove them closer. Human patrols intercepted the newcomers not with weapons, but with signals, images of the battlefield, lists of captured ships and detailed analyses of Zerath tactics. Across the galaxy, word spread like wildfire. Every species that had once considered humans weak now paused to reconsider. Reports reached the Crimson Alliance, a warrior civilization known for conquering and enslaving planets. Their top generals gathered around a star map, frowning. The humans had not only defended their home, but had destroyed the most feared fleet the galaxy had seen in centuries. The message was clear. Humans were not to be underestimated. Even the surviving Zerath ships that had retreated spoke of humanity in hushed tones. The Supreme Commander of the Dominion returned to the council chambers of their capital world. His advisors expected him to plan revenge. He remained silent for long minutes, staring at the holomap of the Sol system. Finally, he spoke. They fought differently. They did not rely on brute force alone. They were clever, patient, and adaptive. The solar system itself was a weapon. Every asteroid, every moon, every station, they used it all against us. We underestimated them, and it cost us everything. The council members were shocked. None of them had ever seen him admit defeat. But now even they understood. Humanity was no ordinary species. Meanwhile, humans continued to act cautiously. They sent exploratory fleets to nearby systems, but they did so quietly. They were not seeking war, but preparation. The solar system's defenses were not meant to intimidate. They were designed to protect humanity until it had reached full strength. And the humans knew that one day, the galaxy would test them again. Despite the silence and secrecy, humans also understood the power of a single message. Across interstellar communication channels, they sent one simple transmission. Do not mistake our patience for weakness. Do not test our resolve. Humanity will defend itself always. The message spread quickly, translated automatically by alien trade networks. Leaders across the galaxy paused. Even the most warlike species could not ignore it. They knew the humans had already defeated what they considered the ultimate military force of the Zerath Dominion. Alien historians began to study Earth and its defenses. They sent scouts to observe human tactics. They tried to predict what humans might do next. But each observation only confirmed one terrifying truth. Humans did not fight like any other species. They learned. They adapted. They used the environment to their advantage. And above all, they never gave up. Back on Earth, the Human Command Center on Mars reported no celebrations. Instead, officers were training, studying captured Zerath technology, and preparing for future possibilities. Every lesson from the battle was recorded. Every tactic was analyzed. Every failure in human planning was corrected. In the outer systems, alien fleets hesitated to approach human space. They sent envoys and messages offering trade and dialogue. They wanted to know the humans, to understand them, and most importantly, to avoid a war that could destroy them. The galaxy, for the first time in millennia, was learning a crucial lesson. Numbers alone do not guarantee victory. Technology alone does not guarantee control. Strategy and patience combined with intelligence and adaptability could overcome even the greatest empires. And humanity had all of these in abundance. As the years passed, humanity quietly expanded into nearby star systems. They did not conquer or enslave. Instead, they built colonies and research stations, always keeping defenses ready but hidden. Every new fleet, every new station, was designed to protect the species and ensure that no civilization could ever again misjudge humanity. The memory of the Oblivion Armada became a warning throughout the galaxy. Never send your strongest against the humans, alien commanders would say. They will not return. And slowly, humanity's reputation spread. Traders spoke of clever human engineers. Pilots whispered about fast, unpredictable fighters. Diplomats learned to respect the humans' patience and planning. Even species that had never fought humans learned to fear them, if only slightly. In the end, it was not anger or hatred that made humanity strong. It was the refusal to be underestimated, the refusal to give up, the ability to turn a home system into a trap and defeat a foe greater than themselves. And so, humanity's legend began to grow. The story of the solar system battle became a symbol across the stars. The strongest fleet in the galaxy had been sent to crush humanity, and it had failed completely. The galaxy finally understood the truth. Humans were not the weakest species. Humans were not just survivors. Humans were something more. Humans were dangerous, and humanity had only begun to show what it could do.